So I just picked up this FJ Cruiser 2007, 170,000 miles, and it's got a smell of radiator coolant. So taking off the skid plates, you can see the red color there. Some drips. It's dripping pretty good. And I took off both the skid plates, and there's more evidence of the red stuff. And under here, just real shiny and greasy. Look at those red drops right there. And check this out. Look at all these strings. I was wondering what these were, but it's actually the belt, the serpentine belt. And let me get you a better view up in here. See, they're all wrapped around the fan pulley and clutch. The belt is totally shredded, but still seems to survive somehow. I just popped off the air cleaner here by releasing these two clips and then popping it away like this and pull out the air cleaner. And this thing is looking pretty saturated. So I'm gonna replace that, but then I'm also gonna check, since I'm at it, I loosened these two bolts here, 1 and 2, just to make sure no rats, mice or rats or anything have gotten in here. I'm gonna pull off this whole air hose and make sure there aren't any leaves trapped and things. And there are a little bit, not bad. See down here the 3 holes? Those are drain holes for if you get water in there. I'm gonna let that leaf out to check out the valve covers, and I definitely have some oil seepage here, so that's gonna need to get taken care of as well. From this side, it's not too bad to do the valve cover, but from the videos I've seen on the driver's side, there's a lot more hoses and connectors and things. The next step I did was just to clean this up and to get things out of the way. There's a bolt here and here to take that cover off, and then there are bolts around the fan shroud here. I've taken off 3 so far. There's one here. Once you get the bolts off, this lifts up. It has kind of a hook underneath that holds the bottom in place that slides in. So over here, I also have another, let's see, down here, 2 bolts, 1, 2, 10 millimeter heads that hold it onto the, and then we can lift up. We can take this out and set it aside, or it can pull off here or here while we're removing. The other thing I did is, of course, the first step was taking off this plastic cover here, which has those little popper grommets that pop in. And you have to be careful and remove those with something like this guy, which I get in under the ledge, pop them up, and then pull out the whole plastic piece. Then it can come free. I'm gonna show this little trick here, the way I get these bolts off here on the fan pulley. I actually take 1 wrench and put it on one of the nuts and have it rest against the thermostat housing right here. And then I'll take my other 12 millimeter and get on here, and that'll allow me to push down and loosen. Now if they're really tight, there's a little trick you can do where you put, there you go, and you can get more leverage on it. That way you can crank down. Okay, why do I have the Sawzall out here, reciprocating saw? Because I had to saw off one of the nuts because it got stripped on the fan clutch. So then if you get all the nuts off and your fan clutch still won't come out, put on a screwdriver or something against it like this and bang with a hammer a bit there to knock it loose, and then should be able to get it off like that. Looking at this belt, it looks like it lost an entire rib. Yep, that would be what all those strings were that were attached to everything. And so now I'm gonna have a look down here. Give the water pump a little spin. Diving back in here. I had jiggled jiggled this guy up here, hidden in here, and that guy down there, and they were all feeling a little wobbly, so they may contribute to noise. So I'm gonna remove those, take those out, probably buy new ones. Little pulleys, wheels. I'm not sure what each one is called. Oops. But you might think, oh, those look like they're really loose. Well, I had pre-loosened them before I took the video. Used the breaker bar on those. And the tensioner, you can see it, this one here, if you listen. It's got a little, so maybe I'll get a new tensioner. I heard it was a bear to get out. I'm not sure why exactly, but I'm gonna watch a video and check it out, see what's up with it. But it is a grease factory. What do you think about this main crankcase pulley? It looks like there's kind of a rubber gasket all the way around, and it's all chewed up right there from when the belt chewed through, and so it's missing a little bit right there. So for the tensioner, I'm gonna put this in forward clockwise, and the tensioner pulley, actually the bolt comes out when you run clockwise. See that? So it's a left-hand thread, not a right-hand thread. Pull that off. And maybe I just need a new pulley for that, not an actual tensioner, but maybe it's just better to get the old tensioner. So I'm gonna check that out too, but now I can actually get to all the bolts for the water pump. It's time to start taking out the bolts and being careful to pay attention where they go back in. So for instance, I'm gonna take this one out. I don't have my new water pump yet, so I wanna take it with me when I get it. I'm gonna put it there to top left. Doing all the 12s first. These I all pre-loosened with the breaker bar, just so I wouldn't have to waste your time showing you that. All right, here's all the bolts you need to get out. So the long ones, are the 12 millimeter heads, are all the same length as for the water pump as goes the 10 millimeter head. They're all the same length. And the 12 millimeters, they can't fit through the smaller holes, so you don't have any worry of getting them mixed up. Just make sure you have them all. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then this thermostat housing, you also need to take off those, and they're kind of over and under and hidden all around inside there. And so that one had 1, 2, 3, 4 big ones and 1 small one. And the other thing I did was unplug the throttle body connector, controller, whatever that is, and undid these hoses. There's 1, 2, there's one in the back here, 3, and a little one here, 4. And then of course the other radiator hose from there, so that I could get some free movement on here and hopefully pull this out. It looks like it's getting stuck on the pulley there. Let's see if we can pull it out of here. Yeah, so I hope that's not RTV or anything that someone put on there, but I'll check. It may just be grease. But the bolts, especially the 10 millimeter, were super loose. So this guy's coming out. I'm gonna bring him over here to check him out. Let's see what we got. Just kind of peek inside. Got a little guy, spinner. We got multiple layers here. There we go. To clean this up. So, who's to say if it was actually the seal that failed? No. You know, some of those pieces ripped off, or if it was actually the water pump bearing. Let's take a look there. That was just leaking out the bottom, you know, leaking out through here and dripping down this way. comes out and drips down this way. Looks like there's a little plug there, punch knockout plug. Interesting. Oh, but it doesn't go through to that side. Not sure what that does, but I didn't hear any weird noises or feel any wobbling, but I got to replace it. So the things to look out for when you replace this are going to be, make sure your kit comes with the 2 O-rings. So let's take a look in here. Take a look at our sealing surfaces. You want to check this plate here and inspect if any oil is leaking out down below here. So I've heard people can have problems with just that little inspection plate there having a leak. And while we're at it, we'll do a full degreasing job on this guy. Here's a tool you can buy for taking off the crankcase pulley or similar. I got one on Amazon. There's actually a seal behind the crankcase pulley, which is an oil seal, and I went ahead and ordered one of those and replaced it as well. For me, I just did the engine degreaser on here and got it looking a little better. And now I'm curious about this guy, if the front seal under this crankshaft pulley is leaking oil, because I did just see so much buildup in grease down here. That could be from the water pump coolant and just collecting with dirt and stuff, but something tells me I want to check that seal. So plus it's all scraped up here from when the belt tore, and I'm worried about, I saw another video where a guy had a bunch of fibers all built up behind this guy. So to get this off, you can use an electric impact. Mine was too wide. I've got the Harbor Freight old school style there plug-in. It was too wide to fit here to here, so you really need like a shorter one. And so I used the bump method, which is get a 22mm socket, put it on there, and rest this here against the battery. Make sure it's this way, don't go this way, or this is going to slam and break stuff. So I put it against here like that with the bolt on, and I just barely tapped the keys onto the start position, just a little bump, and it broke the nut, the bolt free, and the bolt was up here. There it is. So now that I've gotten that bolt off, it's time to get this pulley off of here. And they do make a pulley, but for this one, I'm doing this method. There's 2 threaded holes in there, and you put in some 12mm head bolts and start screwing in. And this pup is just coming right off, just like that. He's off of there, as you can tell, because he's turning. You can't normally turn this guy when he's on because it's keyed. It's keyed, as you can see there.